Let me read to you a passage from the 13th chapter of St. Matthew's Gospel, verses 54 to 58. It's the Gospel for Friday of the 17th week of Ordinary Time. St. Matthew writes, "Coming to his hometown, Jesus began teaching the people in their synagogue, and they were amazed. 'Where did the man get this wisdom and these miraculous powers?' they asked. 'Is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother's name Mary? And are not his brothers James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas? Are not all his sisters with us? Where then did this man get all these things?' And they took offense at him. But Jesus said to them, 'Only in his hometown and in his own house is a prophet without honor.' And he did not do many miracles there because of their lack of faith." That's from Matthew chapter 13, verse 54 to 58. What does it suggest to us? Well, these days, monarchies are, with rare exceptions, constitutional and largely figurehead in significance. The king or queen is loved the more for it, as no unpopular executive decisions can be laid at their feet. Usually in history, the monarch is a member of a dynastic family, although at times in the past a monarch has been overthrown and a new family thereupon constitutes the dynasty. One result is that the next monarch is long predicted. In the case, say, of Queen Elizabeth II of England, the next in line is very well known. The world is accustomed to the thought of Prince Charles succeeding his long-lived mother. Now, there was a people in classical times which, century after century, expected a great king, one appointed by God himself, and one intended by divine plan to rule not only his own people, but the whole world. This forecast had been in possession for at least 1,000 years, even if the details were far from clear. King David had received the prophecy that his throne would last forever, and Abraham long before him had been told from on high that through him all the families of the earth would be blessed. The famed anointed king was coming, and word of this had actually got beyond the chosen people. Something about it was in the air. No authenticated and approved prophet had claimed the role, although there had been the occasional claimant, and there would be the occasional claimant, but they came to nothing. But suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere, there appeared Jesus of Nazareth, claiming not only this divine dominion, but much more. He was the Messiah and the Son of the living God. It was not a claim made in stentorian manner. It grew in its manifestation. It was gentle, but it grew rapidly. The kingdom was near. It was about to be launched and established, and the king was manifestly Jesus Christ himself. The point here, though, is that Christ's appearance on the scene of the nation was sudden. Prior to the beginning of his public ministry, he was virtually unknown. And this is implied in our gospel passage today, from Matthew chapter 13, verse 54 to 58. When our Lord returned to his native village, the surprise was great. "Where did this man get this wisdom and these miraculous powers?" they asked. "Is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother's name Mary? And are not his brothers James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas? Are not all his sisters with us?" All this is to say that prior to his appearance on the public scene, Jesus Christ led a life of quiet obscurity. He was an unnoticed villager of an unnoticed village. That Nazareth was barely on the map and that its inhabitants were scarcely the object of attention is indicated by St. John in his Gospel when he narrates the words of Nathanael on being told of Jesus of Nazareth. Philip of Bethsaida told him that "we have found him of whom Moses in the law and also the prophets wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph." Nathanael said to him, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" John chapter 1, verse 45 to 46. The village was unnoticed, as was our Lord himself. Our Lord's own obscurity is suggested by the reaction of his own townspeople when he returned, as narrated in our gospel today. He was now a religious celebrity in Galilee, but when he returned to Nazareth to offer himself to his townsmen for their belief, they would not go beyond their perception of him that had characterized the years before. And they took offense at him, we read. But Jesus said to them, "Only in his hometown and in his own house is a prophet without honor." And he did not do many miracles there because of their lack of faith. This reaction to Jesus shows the authenticity of the Incarnation. The second person of the Blessed Trinity had truly become man. He had become a member of a family and of a wider circle of relatives and of a particular village. He had lived a normal life in that setting, with others perceiving in him nothing more than a very good human being. Doubtless they could not help but see in him an exceptional moral and spiritual stature. They would never have seen sin in him, never any moral fault, and in his daily round of work and quiet participation in the life of the small town, nothing would have been seen to warrant the slightest moral criticism. But it was a very ordinary life nevertheless, and nothing was seen to constitute notice of the great things to come. Little did they realize that here was the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, the one who would occupy the throne of David forever, the promised Messiah, the one to whom would be given all authority in heaven and on earth. It may be, though, that Satan was beginning to cast his eye on him. We do not know, but it is a wondrous phenomenon that such a man lived so long in humble obscurity. Passages such as that of today show the humble origins of Jesus Christ, but St. Luke shows, drawing ultimately on the testimony of the Virgin Mary, that there had been heavenly indications of his greatness during his infancy and youth. Indeed, one such indicator occurred precisely during his years at Nazareth, but the townspeople did not know about it. This was when he was lost for 3 days and found in the temple. When found, he was discovered sitting among the teachers, and all who heard him were amazed at his understanding and his answers. Luke chapter 2. He was also filled with the awareness that God was his own Father. Did you not know that I must be in my Father's house, or at my Father's affairs? This was the King, the Lord, and the time will come when his reign will be complete and eternal. Let us live for him then,